Hi, everyone, and welcome back, I guess. Don't mind that. So I've been sitting on this episode for about 2 weeks now. We recorded it a while back, and I have been a lazy fuck. So I haven't released it yet. But the time has come. Y'all need your content. Y'all need your Back and Bone show. And I'm here to provide it. I'll feed you, baby birds. You just got to be patient with me. Daddy's here. So this is a really weird episode. It doesn't really matter that I'm releasing it late because it doesn't have a lot of pertinent content to what's going on in society. Me and Matt really just kind of go on a tangent here, and it's a lot of fun. It's really more than anything a throwback to those first couple episodes where we're just throwing out our absurd antics and commentary and bringing up any weird random conversations that we could think of. So I want to thank y'all for joining me and Matt, but he's not here to say it, so I get all the credit. You're welcome. Sit down, shut up, buckle up, pour yourself a drink, and have a good time. Enjoy the show.
Shut up now.
Mikasa Aisukasa. That comes Shifu. Let the party begin!
Your ears you keep, and I'll tell you why.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Take this quarter. Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face. Good day to you, man.
I'm so embarrassed. I wish everybody else was dead.
You know, I don't want to sound like a queer or nothing, but I'm really gonna miss you guys when the show's over.
All right. Cool. All right, we're back and drunker than ever. Matthew, welcome.
Yeah. Rock on.
Rock on, man.
Back and Bone
This is Back and Bone 20.
coming at you.
How you feel about that?
This
Number
is 20?
We're 20 years old, finally.
Wow.
Yeah, our next episode we get to drink alcohol.
Do you remember your 20th birthday?
No. No, what did I do on my 20th birthday?
I had a party.
Sweet. Yeah.
I had a seizure a week before my 20th birthday.
Okay. Yeah. Good times.
And then I was partying a week later.
I was probably hiding from my father somewhere in the house on my 20th birthday.
He's like sadly walking around the house going, Keith, where are you? I just want to celebrate. And you're hiding in the closet.
No,
Daddy.
Please,
no.
It's more like he was lurking around the shadows with his crossbow, just looking for something to snipe at me with.
That was the thing your dad did, huh? He had a crossbow.
He did have a crossbow. So one time, this is a great story. So this one time, I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was very busy. I had and one part-time and one full-time, and I just got done with like a 14-hour day, and I was just wiped out. And I come home, and all the lights are off in the house, and I don't turn on any lights for some reason. I just walk straight to my room, open the door, and then turn my light switch on here, and I close my door, and behind the door is my father with a crossbow pointing it at my face, and I just froze for a moment, and then he pulls the trigger. It was not loaded. It just clicked. And I just had a moment there where I was just like, something about this is not surprising to me. This is how I'm dying.
That's like the first scene in a horror movie.
Right.
It's like, what was that horror movie from the 80s? Like The Stepdad or something?
Oh, Stepfather. Yeah.
Stepfather.
Yeah, with the guy from Nip Tuck.
That's like the scene where like the dad first starts losing it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I scared you, didn't I? Wink. And then
Wink.
Like,
yeah, it's like
by the end of the movie, He rampages everybody.
Really, all my dad said after that was like, "Pretty cool, huh?"
Oh my god!
Like, yep. And ever since then, we've all been terrified of crossbow Patron.
I've never shot a crossbow.
I mean, I've never shot one either, but I can't imagine it's much different from shooting a bow and arrow and a gun mixed together.
Yeah, we have a bow and arrow in the backyard of my house. Sometimes I'll just go out there and
I've been meaning to pick up like a cheap bow and just like shoot some shit. We got a lot of room in this backyard here, actually. I could set up a little target.
Yeah. I would just be too afraid of like the bow going haywire.
Sure.
I lose an arrow.
Yeah, my brother, he had a really big, he had like a longbow. Him and his friend Colin. This is when he was doing a lot of drugs back in the day. You know, that's the sort of thing that people who are on a lot of drugs come across.
Get into bows.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Garden State?
Yes.
There's like a really funny scene in that movie where they go to like one of his friends gets really rich because he invented a special kind of Velcro that doesn't make noise when you pull it. And
it's been so long since I've seen Garden State. I just remember it was Zach Braff.
Zach Braff, yeah. It's actually a really funny movie.
Yeah.
His friend is like super bored.
Yeah.
So they go to his friend's like mansion, and he's just shooting bow and arrows into the air for fun. And then they have to like, as it's coming back down, they have to like dodge it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's fucking hilarious. I just remember the scene where he runs into that guy who was like his friend from high school. He gets like pulled over by the cop, and he's like, like, "Hey, last time I saw you were doing lines of coke off the off
and he has that conversation.
The guy's like, "Yeah."
Everybody has had that conversation at one point with their high school friend.
Yeah, it's like sooner or later we all got to grow up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to grow up. Yeah.
So Matt is repeatedly letting me down. I've been desperately trying to get this guy to watch Wolf Cop, and we were going to review it this time.
I watched 18 minutes of Wolf Cop. It was before bed the other night.
Strange nightmares.
From what I surmised, apparently I missed all the good shit because I haven't got that deep into it yet.
Well, the movie doesn't even really start until he becomes the Wolf Cop, which he hasn't even gotten to that
I
yet.
haven't seen him become the Wolf.
Yeah.
I did watch the transformation earlier on YouTube, and it was actually a surprisingly good transformation.
No, what I was going to say about it, because I rewatched it because I knew we were going to talk about it, was it has surprisingly good production value. Like, for a super low-end movie with no famous people in it, the production of it is pretty good. The camera work.
Well, there's a weird thing with horror movies nowadays where horror movies nowadays that don't have as big of a budget almost in some ways look better than the ones that do have a big budget, because the ones that do have a big budget entirely rely on CGI.
Yeah.
And it takes away from it, whereas the lower budget ones have really, really good practical effects.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, like, that's what you're going to get out of this kind of movie. Wolf Cop is, in no strict terms, a good movie. It's not great acting. It's not a moving script or anything. Nothing about it's really going to like change your life. What you're getting is an 80s horror influenced super campy film that is all visceral. There's no deeper meaning behind any of the lines or anything that happens in it. It is just a straight, like, it is a masturbatorial experience watching this movie. It's just for the enjoyment of it.
It's very much a spiritual successor or sequel, if you will, to Teen Wolf.
No.
Wolf Cop is what Michael J. Fox grew up to be.
I disagree in every conceivable sense.
All right, it's not like that at all. But that's what I wish it was.
Right. That's not what you're getting. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't even seen the movie.
They did come out with a Teen Wolf, too.
Yes.
And it had Jason Bateman as Teen Wolf.
That was Jason Bateman in Teen Wolf 2?
Bateman in Teen
when
Wolf
he's doing the boxing everything instead of basketball.
Jason Bateman. Yep.
That's been so long since I've seen Teen Wolf 2. Like, that,
I know,
that
me
takes
too.
me back. God, I had no idea it was Jason Bateman. How funny
it was like one of his first roles.
Yeah. Yeah. But as far as Wolf Cop goes, like I as a fan of ultra violent campy films, I think like a lot of you guys can get something out of it. There's one scene where they're cleaning up the bodies from a bar bathroom, and they pull a face up out of the sink, and it's just the guy's face. Actually, multiple people get their entire faces ripped off in that movie, and I like that.
That's just a big part of the Wolf Cop character.
Yeah, no, face removal.
Face rip.
There's one guy gets his face ripped off in a meth lab, and it gets thrown at the car that the sidekick is sitting in.
It's kind of like MacGruber's throat rip.
Yes, yeah, it's his signature. MacGruber will rip your throat out. Wolf Cop will rip off your face.
MacGruber. I had my brother-in-law had never seen MacGruber, so like
it takes a couple tries to really get anything out of that movie.
I thought it was hilarious the first time I watched it. I love MacGruber, so I recommended it to him because his sense of humor is very much like he's into just like the very, like the Will Ferrell, like just the real goofy, silly humor. And so I recommended MacGruber to him, and I told him, I was like, it's going to be your favorite movie of all time. And it's like literally his favorite comedy of all time. He fucking was dying laughing.
Speaking of Will Ferrell, have you seen Between Two Ferns yet?
No, I was going to watch that.
I just watched it the other night. It was really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like... I thought it was going to be just a bunch of like interviews, like how he does that.
That's what I thought it was going to be too. Yeah.
No, it's like a full-blown mockumentary. Like
Okay.
it has them like going across the country and stuff. It's pretty funny. Like,
well, it's funny when I was
Will Ferrell plays this like overblown like he plays himself, but the character he plays as Will Ferrell is like this almost like Texas oil tycoon, like out of his mind guy, rides around on a fucking motor scooter and shit. And he's just like talking shit to everybody. He's fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna have to watch that. When I was on my way to work this morning, they had a clip from that movie where Zach Galifianakis is interviewing Brie Larson.
Yeah.
And he asked her, like, I was fucking dying laughing because he asked her, he just randomly asked her, he's like, when did you get your first period? What was that like?
He asks her, he says, like, before the interview, I read that you are not comfortable with, or like you prefer not to be asked any questions that make you uncomfortable. So I'd just like to say real quick, when did you get your first period?
Man.
I'm trying to remember the one that fucking killed me.
I love that style of like that almost like the Sacha Baron Cohen style.
Oh yeah.
I love that style of comedy. Nothing makes me laugh harder than that. Like when I saw Bruno in theaters, it killed me. Like might have been the hardest I've ever laughed in theaters.
Yeah. I never saw Bruno.
You didn't see Bruno?
No,
Bruno is
I find
insanity.
I love Sacha Baron Cohen. I think he's really funny. He's like a really gifted actor and everything. I think he's a little hard to swallow. I'm like never really in the mood for that.
That is the perfect analogy for Bruno.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Because that movie is filthy.
Yeah.
Just filled with male nudity and like nonstop bombardment of just. It is so.
It's ultimately distasteful in the best kind of way.
It's distasteful beyond your wildest imagination. Like it is. It couldn't even be released today.
Yeah,
it really couldn't.
Yeah,
like
and I really appreciate that. I respect that. I think that shit like that should be out there pushing boundaries and shit. But I'm just not like hardly ever in the mood for that.
Right.
I don't really just want to put that on when I'm just like chilling after work or something.
There's a scene in the movie where he has Paula Abdul come and talk about charity work that she's doing, and he just recently moved into his house, so he doesn't have furniture, and there's some Hispanic gentlemen outside doing landscaping work. So he pays one of them to come inside and become a chair. So this little like 60-year-old Hispanic man is on all fours, and Bruno's like, hey, have a seat. Paula Abdul sits on this man, and like it's just it's just full of shit like that, where he just makes these celebrities so insanely uncomfortable.
That's fucking great. Yeah, the Ali G show just in general was
Yeah, the
the
LG
whole-
show is ridiculous.
like where all those characters came from originally. I think like a lot of people haven't actually seen that because that goes a little too deep.
Ali G was. I still remember the first time I saw that. I just didn't know what it was.
Right.
I didn't know whether it was scripted or it was supposed.
Yeah.
I wasn't really exposed to that style of comedy at that time, so I just didn't even know what I was watching.
We got them all on Netflix back when Netflix was like a delivery service. So we had them all sent to us. It was yeah. So we watched them all in order like that.
You know what was probably the first show that I watched that had that type of humor, that type of sketch comedy was The Man Show. Really?
Yeah, it's I guess
they would do a lot of skits where they would go out and interact with real people. I can't honestly think of any other show that I would watch at that age prior to that where they would do that frequently.
No, I don't think there was a lot of call for that back then. I think that more or less started in the Man Show era.
Yeah, I know that there was, probably plenty of shows prior to that did that, but that was just the first one that I had seen. But
it wasn't necessarily the end, but it was sort of, that was more or less the beginning of the end of like the sitcom era.
Right.
Like we've drifted pretty far from that, and there still are sitcoms, but the ones that we have now have evolved so much that they're not really like a standard sitcom anymore.
No,
like, nobody watches any of the regular sitcoms that are out that I know of.
I think The Man Show deserves a lot more credit for, I don't know, that show. I've gone back and watched some of those skits and they're just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Man Show Boy, some of the stuff they would have him do.
It's been so long since I've watched The Man Show. I didn't even watch it a lot back when it was new.
I'm trying to think of a good example of they would just do some really, like, they had this one where Adam Carolla actually was he used to be like a contractor, so he has a really good knowledge of all things tools and cabinetry and all that shit. So they had him they had this skit where they would have Adam Carolla work at like a Home Depot. And then all of, if you've ever been into a Home Depot, all the guys who are coming in there, they're like, they know exactly what they're getting. They're like on a mish, right?
Yeah.
And he would basically go up to them and then he would try and stump them on like what they were looking for. And he would come up he was really experienced. So he would basically suggest ways that they could do it better. And like, he would kind of almost just like, what's the word? Like
it's like he's challenging
emasculate them or, he would it was
like undercut them and shit.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. I kind of remember that. Have you ever seen Adam Carolla's movie that he made?
The Hammer.
The Hammer.
Yeah.
It was basically just his story. It was about him being a contractor that boxed.
Yeah. The Hammer. Yeah, I've watched that movie like twice. I just watched it like a year ago because one of a friend of mine was like, they're really into Adam Carolla and they played it.
It's like, if you like Adam Carolla, it's definitely a decent movie. It's not bad. It's kind of like a feel-good, semi-romantic comedy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's kind of, dude. There's just some actors. All right, they just shouldn't be in the romantic role.
He's too ugly.
You're just not buying it, man. And sorry, Adam Carolla, we're just not buying in that role, dude.
I'm also not buying all those people he was knocking out, but at the same time, I have heard that he's actually like got a really, really hard.
Have you seen videos of him hitting mitts and stuff?
I haven't, but I've heard people talk about it. I've heard that he's like super legit.
Yeah, he can box like for sure.
Yeah, like he's like
there's a video online.
He's a serious high level boxer.
He is. There's a video online of him.
But when you just look at him, like physically, you're looking at him like
you would never get.
I have a hard time with this.
I know. I know. There's a video online of him holding mitts for Uriah Faber. He had him on his podcast.
Yeah.
Dude, he's super legit.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Right.
I was shocked.
Well, that was what I've heard, and that's why when you watch that movie, it's like
it's the equivalent.
It's based on him, basically.
It's the equivalent to when you see Joe Rogan, spinning back kick a fucking bag for the first time, and you're like, what?
You're like, oh shit!
Fuck,
I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, I didn't know Joe Rogan had a better spinning back kick than anybody in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is when you see Carolla hit mitts. You're like, fuck. Yeah, it's quite impressive.
It's real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What were we just talking about in the house? We were talking about Child's Play.
Yeah, Child's Play.
Yeah. So the new Child's Play movie, a lot of people really hated it, and I understand where that came from. I think people were really uncomfortable with the, spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen it. We're going to be talking about some shit that happens in the movie. A lot of people really hated the rebooting of it. It was a totally different style of movie. One, the first 40 minutes of it, nothing scary happens. It's just it's a kid developing a relationship with his doll. And it's an AI thing that is there's no demonic possession or anything. And I get that originally kind of made the original one scarier, that Chucky was after his soul, he wanted he wanted to steal his body, and
Well, plus the chant, the original Ade Due Dembula, give me the power.
Right.
The little chant.
It was a whole different feel. And then this one was an AI horror, which is timed pretty good for society, because that's what everybody's fucking talking about, is AI gonna ruin our lives or save us or whatever. But it's also kind of already been done. That was what I had against it, the whole AI going wrong.
What are some of the big ones that there's
Obviously,
so many.
iRobot.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could really just
where
run
Will
down a
Smith
whole...
defeats technology
was
all
that
by himself.
Was that the first time though where it had ever been done in a horror movie as opposed to action?
AI?
Yeah. It's mostly usually action and thrillers that it's been done in, right?
I feel like it. I'm trying to.
There's got to be another.
I'm trying to remember some old ones though, because the idea of AI was it's 70 years old.
Yeah, it's been around.
It's been discussed and worked on since the 50s. So
yeah, you could go. You could go deep.
Mm-hmm.
You could even just go to a fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go.
You could go super far back.
2001: A Space Odyssey does have some elements of horror to it too. It's not strictly an action sci-fi movie. It definitely feels
it's like any other Stanley Kubrick movie. It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's dark.
He knows how to make things horrifying in a different way.
Yeah.
And just like that, I always really liked that shot in 2001: A Space Odyssey where you have the I can't remember the fucking guy's name, but you have the main character
Dave.
Yeah, you've got him laying in that room.
What are you doing, Dave?
Yeah, you've got him laying in that all-white room at the end of the movie with all the statues and even just something like that is weirdly scary because
it's very just
to see this old man at the end of his life laying in this perfectly clean manicured room with these statues and all these, it's almost like juxtaposing that image of having all of your material surroundings being perfect, but your body is still going to age and decompose just like any other.
Right.
That's the reality of that.
Sure. Yes, but there's also something just unsettling cinematically about that image. That's something Kubrick was always really good at, is just placing things in this unrealistically perfect way that you just feel you're not looking at something real.
He was so meticulous with his detail that everything was made to look like a painting, basically.
Right. I was going to say that. You feel like you're looking at a painting, but it's real things, and it
was
puts
all
you
framed. There's this thing on YouTube. God, what is that called? Is it Cineflix or something like that? But this thing on YouTube where they'll break down just movies and movie frames and all sorts of different shit. But they did one on Stanley Kubrick, and they were talking about how he's a master of that, and how he's a master of taking the camera and putting it right where it needs to be to get a specific feel out of a scene or a frame. And they were talking about his most hated movie was Barry Lyndon, which was a fucking I don't even know what it was about, to be honest. I never watched it. I've only seen parts of it.
I've seen the poster. Where it's just
it has all these,
a leg and a gun.
It's got Barry Lyndon's got all these English aristocrats, But
It looks boring, but I don't know.
Well, but there's a scene, and I think that's what they said. But there's a scene in the movie where, they're at a candlelight late at night, and I think they're playing like cards or something, having some drinks, and there's these two characters sitting across the table, a woman and a man sitting across the table from this other man, and this other man who's sitting across the table is banging the wife of the guy.
Of course, why wouldn't he be?
Right. So the whole idea, though, is how masterfully he's able to kind of position things to where and they kind of know, but like, you know what I mean? It's one of those small, really subtle kind of things that he does.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I think it's called Cineflex videos. Really good stuff like that.
There's so many of those things. Like YouTube is just saturated with shit like that.
That's all I really watch now.
Yeah.
99% of the time I'm watching YouTube. My attention span has been demolished by the internet.
Your attention span has been annihilated.
Yeah.
I'll
still sit down and watch a show, but it takes effort for me to sit down and watch a TV show or a movie now. It really does.
I prefer that. Like I'm the opposite. I want to put something on and I don't want to have to change something. I want it to stay on and absorb me.
Right.
Let me get into this.
I can still do that if I go to a movie theater or something like that, but if I'm at home, it's just there's so much temptation when my iPad's right there and I just want to pick it up and check it. And I mean, I hate that I do that, but it's literally to the point where me sitting down and getting through an entire season of a TV show is the equivalent to the level of focus it would have taken me a few years ago to sit down and finish a book. Where I have to like isolate myself and do it. And it's so weird. I never thought I would get to that point, but
you need to smoke some fucking weed, man.
I probably do.
You just need to chill the fuck out, turn your brain off, and smoke some fucking weed.
Yeah.
After a long day of like working out and training people and working, you don't feel like, I just want to put something on and like disappear into it for a while.
I do that, but I do that with YouTube videos, and I do like 10 minutes.
But you gotta fucking change them every 10 minutes.
I know, but dude, you should see the shit I watch. I watch fucking my wife must think I'm the biggest dork on the planet. I watch action figure reviews.
That is horrible. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
And I still collect action figures.
My nephew...
I'll always be a collector, but I'll watch these videos where these guys unbox these figures, and they're breaking down, like, points of articulation and the paint job. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's gotten so bad.
Man, I appreciate you, but, like... It's wrong.
I know.
My nephew watches videos of fucking garbage truck drivers just driving around. He sits there laughing his ass off.
Kim told me that your nephew's like super into garbage trucks.
He likes garbage trucks. Well, he likes garbage in general. Like he likes the trash cans. He likes. He'll tell you everything about where that shit's going. If you go see him, the first thing he'll ask you is what is your garbage company?
Where have you ever sat down with him and tried to ask him like where this fascination comes from, or no? Yeah, I mean he's like.
I don't want to encourage it. Questions. I want him to get away from garbage trucks. How old is he? He is 5.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know why he likes garbage. He's just like, I like fucking garbage.
He just fucking likes garbage, man. I don't know. We'll get it sorted out though.
That is a very odd fascination.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. He just suddenly one day he just saw garbage and it was like, this is it. This is the thing. This is
wow.
Which he could totally be a garbage man. They make a good living. That's nothing wrong with that.
Ambition.
Yeah, man.
What would this kid do if you brought him to a landfill or something?
He loves the landfill.
Wow.
Yeah, he loves it. It's his spot, dude. Everybody who is a rational human being hates the landfill.
I remember having to go with... Oh, it's awful. I remember having to do these jobs with my dad when I was like 18, 17.
But you're not a 5-year-old who's obsessed with garbage.
No, but I remember having to do these jobs where we'd have to go back and forth to the landfill to drop off all this fucking trash, and it was just so shitty.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't think of a shittier place to be.
Mm-hmm. Like, it literally just smells like shit. There's probably a lot of actual shit that is getting dumped there amongst all the garbage.
Yeah.
No, we went there. We had to do a couple dump runs recently, and that was pretty rough, man. That was gross. But But it is nice. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid, getting all that trash out of here.
Isn't it crazy that there's parts of like Africa and some of these other like third world countries that are like they're just basically the whole city is a landfill?
Yeah. Have you ever been to El Paso?
No.
That's it.
For those of you listening in, El Paso is a toilet.
Yeah. I drove through El Paso one time. Really polite, smiling man at the gas station just tried to get in our car. He was very nice about it. We had to inform him this was not his vehicle. It was like driving past, to be fair, we didn't hang out anywhere in El Paso. I didn't get a good feel for it. But as we were driving through it, there was like a whole mountainside of like little shacks and shit that people were living in. It looked like a third world country. It was pretty.
That's the thing about the more other places I go to visit out of state, the more I realize, like, man, California actually is a really nice place.
Yeah.
You kind of take it for granted growing up here, but it's like...
Well, it's expensive. It's hard to get by out here.
Yeah.
You know?
But, essentially what you're paying for, you're literally, I guess, just paying to live here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
That's literally what it is, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're putting up with all the other Californians to live here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's rough out there, man. There are places like El Paso that you just don't want to go to. And people fucking live out there.
Yeah, why would they choose? I don't know. It just sounds shitty to me. It sounds hot, humid. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm going to Florida in a couple weeks. I've never been there before.
Florida's cool. I only really hung out in Miami just during a layover on a flight one time, and it was just like, it was like I had a wet sweater wrapped around my face. The humidity is just so thick.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was interesting for definitely like a change of climate. Like it was so different that it really makes you realize like how different the weather and climate can be.
Right.
Yeah, and it was sunny, it was warm, it was nice, but the humidity was just so crazy. It was like thick. It was like heavy.
That's the most fascinating thing about the United States is the fact that basically everywhere you go, I mean, every state is like its own little country, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like we just got back from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and that's not the same place as when we went to Chicago. Those are two vastly different places that may as well be different countries.
There is a pretty enormous distance between the two places, so you would think.
Well, yeah, but it's just they're just even I don't know. Like we went to Portland, all right? We went to Portland. Yeah. If you guys haven't been to Portland, it's just all white people.
Sounds like a paradise.
Everywhere you go. I was the most culturally diverse motherfucker there.
Yeah.
We went to that airport and I was like, holy shit, this is weird. This is like San Luis Obispo, but everywhere is like
There you go, white people. Portland, that's where you go to escape your adversity.
Escape the diversity.
To escape your diversity. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
If you're tired of being persecuted, white people, by all these people of color, go to Portland.
There used to be there was a podcast I was listening to that was really interesting, and they were talking about how it's weird because Portland is like the most, supposedly the most fucking progressive, like, you walk into restaurants in Portland and they've got like the sign that says, we accept everyone here.
Yeah, but there's only white people to accept.
Right,
so.
they really go out of their way. Yeah, but then they've got...
But also, like, how many places have you been to in the last 20 years that did not allow someone in for their race or ethnicity or anything? I mean, it's not like you see that happen a lot.
Isn't that the ironic thing about it? Is like, all right, you've got a place like Portland where they're known for being place.
Anybody can come in here. It's like, yeah, anybody can go into a Starbucks too.
But it's kind of like, all right, you're doing it in Portland. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. So is every other place here.
Yeah.
If you walk into a place in fucking bumfuck Arkansas that has a sign like that, now that's impressive.
That might mean something.
That's progressive. But Portland sucks, dude. Of all the places I've ever visited, that was by far the most boring.
Really? I always hear such good things about Portland. It's
Really?
such
If
a
you
fun
don't-
place. Like,
Okay, first of all, it was fun in the sense that
I mean, shit. If you like coffee shops, I guess
there were some good places to eat, so that was cool. But I mean, places to eat there are like theme parks. You're waiting in line for like an hour and a half.
Really?
Everywhere you go. Yeah, everywhere is a wait.
Mhm.
And then you walk around, and the city's just not that cool. You've got fucking homeless people everywhere. Have you ever been to the Tenderloin in San Francisco, which is
We talked about that.
brutal? That's like, there's whole chunks of Portland that are that.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and like, sorry, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I just don't want to be around homeless people all the time.
Nobody does. Homeless people don't want to be around
Homeless people don't even want to be around homeless people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just wasn't that fun. I don't know. It was like a way shittier version of Seattle.
I was gonna
Seattle was
say,
really cool.
Seattle's cool.
Yeah.
I like Washington.
Seattle, yeah.
That's a place that you gotta have a lot of white people in too, though, because they're the only
Yeah.
ones who could survive. You don't have vitamin D from
Well,
the sun.
There's a thing that the podcast I was listening to, I got off of this, but Portland apparently used to be like, they literally would not allow black people in. That was like a thing in Portland for a long time.
That's probably why they have signs on the,
Right.
the doors now.
They literally were not allowed. So I think that's what happened. Is
Yeah.
they went so long where they were so oppressive, and they just went the fucking other way.
Mhm.
But yeah, Seattle was fucking cool. Like if you have plan on going to Portland, just cancel that ticket and go to Seattle instead, and you get all the cool kind of progressiveness you would get from Portland.
Just go
but
a
in
couple extra
funner,
miles up
bigger
there.
city. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
way fucking cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Because Seattle
the
was
Space Needle.
yeah, and well, make sure you go the right time of year too. We went in September, and it was like it only rained one day. It was really nice, but
Unless you want to go there for the rain and the snow, you know.
nobody wants that.
Fuck you. I like it.
I'm good. I like when it rains here.
True.
Their
okay,
rain is
good
different
point.
than
Yeah,
our rain.
Good point. What about the snow, dude? The
Snow
snow.
sucks.
The snow.
The snow is so overrated. We went to Mammoth last December. It
Well-
was fucking shitty.
It's great to visit the snow. Like if you're just gonna go up to Big Bear or something, like that's real nice.
We went for 5 days to Mammoth.
Uh-huh.
We skied on the first day. Skiing,
Mm-hmm.
it was okay. Not my favorite thing in the world to do. It was fucking freezing balls on that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
My toes and my fingers felt like there, and I was fully layered. Like I had the hand warmers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so ungodly cold, and just having to put the snow chains on your
see
car.
you up there in your spats and your
Dude.
wind resistant
I
top with your shorts over your spats.
I shredded that mountain like fucking Freddy Krueger. I fucking shredded.
surgical. He's surgical.
I was
with
surgical on that snow.
Yeah.
I tore through that snow on those skis. But with that being said, I was over it after like a day.
Mm-hmm. Once you'd mastered skiing, what
Once
more
I
is there to
became
be?
a skiing expert, I was good. And it was perfectly juxtaposed because in December, we went to Mammoth.
Mhm.
It was okay. Like I said, a little too cold, a little too snowy. Then we went to Hawaii in April. And I was
Sure.
like, Hawaii shits on Mammoth.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but tropical vacay in a place like that, there's no comparison
Well,
between
yeah,
a cold
man.
vacay. So much better.
But you can also drive to Mammoth today. Like
Yeah.
Hawaii is a little bit more of a skip if you wanted to get
For
there.
sure.
Yeah.
And I got a heat rash in Hawaii, and that sucked.
And it's also kind of you and your heat rashes.
I'm always
your
getting
Hawaii
heat rashes.
rash, your fucking Santa Fe heat rash.
Can't
It's
go
gross,
anywhere hot.
man.
I'm probably going to get a heat rash when I go to Florida in 2 weeks.
You're probably getting a heat rash right
I'm
now. It's hot.
Just
in here.
thinking about it right
Like-
now, I'm getting a fucking heat rash.
It's probably a good like 85, 90 degrees in here.
Yeah,
Give you a heat rash.
I might have
Give you a
one.
heat rash.
I'm developing
Why are
one.
you wearing a sweater? It's really warm in here.
I don't know. I look like I'm 300 pounds right now with this on. Like, look at the way I just
I have
melt.
no idea what the hell you're talking
If I just
about.
go like this, or I just melt into the couch.
How fat does Matt look?
I go like
Can
this.
we get some comments?
I'm a big old boy.
Matt needs a little motivation to get back in the gym. He's really slipping right now. His abs are only like a little bit showing. and he's trying to show them through his sweater right now with his excess breathing, but he's really disappointing me, and I hold a lot of weight in my self-confidence through Matt vicariously, so I want everybody to send some comments on how fat Matt looks. Like, look at his face. Look at those cheeks poofing out.
Look at that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tub of goo.
Yeah.
Lord.
Like that at all. I'm getting more and more uncomfortable as this podcast progresses. I missed all the fights. I missed all the fights since our last podcast. I didn't see Gaethje and Cowboy. I thought they were going to play that at the they were going to play that at my work, and they didn't.
It happened. I wasn't really surprised. It kind of happened as I thought it would.
Didn't Gaethje just beat the shit out of him? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Just Gaethje just.
Well, then remember we did a podcast prior to that fight where I said it's either going to be Donald Cerrone like picking him apart.
One of two things is going to happen: either Donald Cerrone's going to win, or Justin Gaethje's going to win.
No, I got a little more detailed than that. I said if Cerrone wins, he'll be picking him apart for fucking however many rounds.
Yeah.
If Gaethje wins, it's just going to be a steamroll.
Yeah. Well, we kind of talked about it. I remember saying that, like, after you're doing some shit with Siri over there.
Oh, what?
I remember saying that after that demoralizing loss to Ferguson, when he was doing so well, I didn't know if that was going to derail him. And I don't know if that's what happened. I haven't even seen the fight, but I mean, basically.
Personally, I don't think it's that. I think that there's just certain styles of fighters that Cerrone just doesn't do well with. You know?
Yeah, those really, like, fighters, like, less athlete, more fighter.
Gaethje, I was reading a interview with him this morning where he was talking about how he feels like his, in fact, whoop-de-doo, everybody has said this, but he was saying that he feels like his style is like the perfect style
for
Khabib, and he was talking about,
I don't even know what he was talking about. I think, obviously.
But he did make some good points, and he was talking about, because he was an NCAA Division I All-American, and he was talking about...
Not enough for Khabib.
But he was talking about how the specific style of wrestling that he was an All-American in was folk-style wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Where it's different than freestyle.
Yeah, folk style is weird. I don't even know the rules for folk style.
Basically what he said with folk style is it's not like in freestyle you'll give up your back and just go belly down and you lose a point or whatever the case is. But with freestyle, he said it's way more wild and like scrambly.
Yeah, folk style, you mean?
Folk style, yeah. Folk style is way more wild and scrambly, and he just said that the specific style of wrestling that he does, he thinks would give.
Well, isn't that's what Ben Askren is, right? He's folk style, yeah. I don't know the rules of folk style. I've never done folk style. I've done a little bit of Greco-Roman. I've done some freestyle. Most of my wrestling is collegiate rules. Collegiate's really scrambly. Collegiate is pretty scrambly. But
when I hear folk style, I picture a giant hillbilly.
Me too.
A teenage boy, and him just squirming on the fucking ground. No. And this hillbilly is rock hard, just fucking
just a giant
grind that thing in there.
A giant fucking hillbilly.
This squirmy little wiry teenage boy, that's how he gets his man.
I always think of just like some fucking hillbillies in a swamp fucking just wrestling like in their fucking overalls or half buttoned overalls, just like
they're like
getting all scratched up in the bushes.
You ain't never seen this folk style, boy.
Whistling through their missing tooth and shit while they're going.
Folk style.
Yeah, I imagine it just being this real silly, like funky wrestling style. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but they're just these hardened country folk.
Country boy.
Make it work.
Folk style, what a name, huh?
Yeah, right. It does. It just gives you that appeal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna. Maybe there's like a style of sex they could create.
Folk style sex. Folk style well,
sex.
have you looked under the categories on Pornhub for?
No, but there must be a folk style.
Folk style. I bet you there is. Are you going to research folk style sex right now?
I'm just gonna go on Pornhub.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the search bar and I'm just gonna type in
You
folk style and see what we get here.
you go ahead and go on Pornhub and find that out. I'm going to go grab some more coffee real quick
All right.
and keep the people entertained. Hey, how's this look for a change of lighting?
That's good. It makes me look very noir.
I like noir. Noir's good. We're going to go Batman for the rest of this.
It's quite bright.
Maltese Falcon Batman.
So I'm gonna keep you guys entertained here as I take you on my journey into folk style. I'm on Pornhub. I just typed in folk style on the search bar, and I didn't quite get what I anticipated. I was thinking we were maybe gonna get some hillbilly action. First thing that pops up: Asian office lady effed hard by male folks at different places. What an odd place to insert the word folks, huh? Like when you hear folks, like I'm gonna go see some really nice folks. Hey, there's some nice folks. But to insert it into the title of such a heinous pornography video seems odd, I would say. Asian office lady effed hard by male folks at different places. And that's pretty much it. That's actually the only... Actually, no, there's another one. Here we go. Grown folks effing.
Grown folks effing?
Pretty much it.
Oh, yeah, I like this angle a little bit more.
I pointed out the absurdity of... So I typed in folk style on Pornhub, and the first thing that pops up is Asian office lady effed hard by male folks at different places. And then I illustrated how absurd it is to insert that word into that heinous porn title.
Right.
Like typically if you use the word folks, you're talking about, hey, I know some really nice folks from this place.
When I greet tables, I always say, hey folks, how we doing today?
Right. Yeah.
That's really bastardizing that word.
It into a disgusting, vile porno title like this.
Yeah.
That's really just distasteful.
Read that again for the people who we may have
One more
glossed
time for
over.
you guys.
One more for
This is
everyone.
probably the fourth time I've read it. Asian office lady effed hard by male folks at different places. Wow. These were just a few folks just trying to
fuck an Asian office
They
lady.
were looking for an Asian office
Different
lady.
places.
Wow, isn't that something?
Just some folks.
What is the world coming to? That's sick.
Apparently they're coming to folk porn.
That's just fucking... That's really... That's vile.
They're coming to Asian office ladies in folk porn.
Makes me sick.
I appreciate it. I think the more things people can jerk off to, the more different style walks of life we can respect. Hey, to folk porn.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
Cheers with, so
yeah, I looked away to see if I could find something to cheers with, but I could
there's some
not.
empty glasses over there, but that's bad luck. So we're not going to do that.
Yeah, whatever blows your hair back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you can put in an Asian office. Yeah. What are we looking forward to that's coming out right now? Joker movie. I know we've talked about that a couple times.
Yeah, we went over Joker.
Yeah, we've already, you know.
Oh, I saw the trailer for this movie that Taika Waititi's coming out with called Jojo Rabbit. You seen the trailer for that?
I've passed by it. I haven't watched the trailer yet.
It's a
Jojo
real
Rabbit.
goofy, like it's like about Hitler and like the Nazi youth.
Yeah,
but they do it like a weird, almost like Wes Anderson style, like comedy.
Never actually heard someone say Nazi without the T sound.
Nazi.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. Let's see what you have to say about that. If you think I say the word "in" weird, Matt's got a problem with the word Nazi.
I'm surprised you don't say it like in Nazi.
In Nazi.
In Nazi.
You know what? I don't call it "n" either. Okay, it's "in."
You literally just said "in" again. You said "in" as in
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Walking into this room.
Oh, N.
That's see,
N,
you did
the
it.
letter N.
He proved that he does have the vocal. He's not a dolphin. Okay, dolphins. In case you didn't know,
can't pronounce "ins" correctly.
Well, there was an experiment conducted by John Lilly where they fed dolphins LSD. This is a true story. Radiolab did a podcast about it. This woman lived in a house with dolphins, and they fed them LSD. And one of the dolphins, my wife hates when I tell this story, by the way, because I've told it so many times. One of the dolphins
never told it here, so.
who displayed high levels of intelligence became fixated with the woman who was conducting the experiments and observing the dolphins. So she lived in this house in a bed that was suspended above the water while all the dolphins lived around her. So this dolphin became fixated with her, and he was hyper intelligent. And she determined that the only way, he was so sexually fixated and in love with her, she determined that the only way she would be able to test his intelligence and continue with the experiments was if she manually masturbated him every day.
Oh, I have heard this.
So that's what she did.
Yeah.
And then crazy shit, not only do they have recordings of this dolphin attempting to enunciate words, but they just don't possess the vocal capabilities.
Yeah, Fox P2 gene.
Yeah, they have like if the dolphin tried to say my name, Matthew, he would go, ew. So he was trying to say that, but he couldn't do it. So they displayed like these high levels of intelligence, and this dolphin was so in love with this woman that when she left and they discontinued the experiments because they ended up getting in trouble, he committed suicide. And I didn't know that either. Not only do dolphins commit suicide regularly, they also murder each other. They have all of the same...
All the things that make it great being a human.
Right,
Suicide, murder,
all of the beautiful
love,
things
depression
that are unique, that actually, that we think are unique to being humans, but they're not. They're actually...
all the stuff that makes us human.
Yeah.
Murder,
That's why
suicides.
it's almost kind of funny when you hear, like, like when you hear somebody who's like vegan or vegetarian talk about like animals, and it's like, do you fucking realize how ruthless animals are?
Oh, yeah.
They're so goddamn ruthless.
The one that gets me is the amount of animals that are killed with farming, like
with the manufacture of grain. I know.
Yeah, the manufacture of grain. So it's like we're eating the animals and getting something out of the ones that we're killing for meat. You know,
Right.
like yes. The problem is life eats fucking life. You can't get away from that. If you want to be alive, you have to eat something that's alive, and something has to die.
Exactly.
Plants, like I listened to a Radiolab on how plants can communicate.
They have underground networks of roots.
The roots have these little cilia that grow off them that they match the inner workings of the human ear.
Yep.
They're the exact same thing. They hear the way that humans hear.
Yeah.
But their hearing is way better.
It's like ferngully. If one tree is chopped down, it sends out signals through a network to all the other trees that there's a potential danger.
Yeah.
So it's like that's when you
they have defense mechanisms too. Like plants actually they let out phytotoxins when they hear that when they can hear the sound of animals eating the leaves.
That's also part of too when you chop up. Dr. Rhonda Patrick talked about that, where she says that if you're going to eat like garlic or just anything, basically you should always chop up the vegetable first if you eat it raw, and then let it sit for 10 minutes, because then it actually the plant will release those. I don't know if it was phytotoxins or what. I don't remember what it was called, but it actually releases.
I just assume that phytotoxin is the right word because I know that has something to do
We'll
with
just
plants.
say it's phytotoxin. It actually releases a chemical that makes the plant more digestible. Because if you eat it raw, it has, just like anything else, it has a protective mechanism. It doesn't. The plant doesn't want to be eaten.
Right.
Like any other living organism, it resists being hunted, essentially.
So it's a real fucking shame, but you don't get to be alive without fucking killing things.
No.
Inherently, we are murderers to exist.
Yeah, that is a cycle of life. Everything that is living lives off of the energy of something else.
Yeah. Totally respect anyone's decision to be vegan. That's fine. But don't give me shit for eating meat.
Well, the stupidest argument is when somebody says, well, if you look at the construction of the human jaw, it wasn't meant to eat meat. And it's like, really? Why the fuck does it process meat so efficiently then? Why does your body digest the amino acids found in meat more effectively and more bioavailably than
it does with
any
broccoli.
other protein on the planet?
Like, the the vitamins in most vegetables, more of that gets just destroyed in the digestive
Exactly.
process than.
That's the thing
Like-
that people don't. Did you know that the vitamins you get in a piece of meat are more bioavailable to
listened
you
to
than the
Dr. Rhonda
vitamins
Patrick
you
talk
get
about
in
that.
veggies?
You get
And-
more vitamins from red meat
Yeah.
than you like. A
You
piece
do.
of liver is gonna give you more nutrition than like a fucking mountain of broccoli.
A piece
Like,
of liver is so new. This is so new. It's people talk about like kale or spinach or whatever being a superfood. Animal liver is the most nutritious food on
Mhm.
the planet.
Yeah.
It has like enough vitamin K to last you for literally about a month.
Yeah.
It is filled. It is the highest source of beta carotene on
And
the planet.
it's like 100% bioavailable. You eat that and you're gonna get
Yeah.
all the nutrients out
Which
of
is,
it.
and if you're just taking it from a practical standpoint, when a pack of wolves kill a fucking deer, what part of the body they all fight over to get to first? The liver, because they know it is
I
filled
was
with
gonna say the
nutrients.
testicles, but whatever.
Well, hey, I'll munch on a nice pair of balls if I need
I'll have
to.
a
I'll tell
nice
you
Rocky
that much.
Mountain oyster if there's
You
nothing
know?
else on the menu.
I mean,
but-
I don't care. I don't care if the liver's more nutritious. I'll still take my balls over the liver.
I'll go
any
for
day.
the balls every time. All these idiots are over here fighting over the liver.
Isn't
I got
that-
my choice of the what?
Isn't that sick that monkeys, when they like lose it,
When they attack
beat
people,
the shit out of you, they will rip your nuts off?
Oh yeah, they go
'Cause they
straight for
know-
the genitals, the hands, the eyes,
The
and
eyes?
then- yeah,
Because they know that's how you reproduce.
yeah,
That's fucking vile.
yeah. Vile creatures, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that to that dude who survived. I can't remember like what the story was. Some dude just recently got attacked by fucking chimps, and they just ripped him to shreds, and he got fucking rescued. But like, for what, dude? He has no eyes, he has no genitals, he has no hands, no feet. He's just like a fucking. He's just like a mouth rolling around. Like,
Call me crazy, but you take my eyes and my genitals, I might not want to live.
finish the job. That's
You
all
may
I'm
as well
saying.
kill me.
Don't
Because
fucking rescue me at
I
that point.
basically have nothing to live for
Yeah.
anymore. You take my genitals and my
Yeah.
eyes.
I'm
Here's
all
a
out of
good
stuff.
question.
Like,
Might be the best question I've ever thought of in my life. Genitals or your eyes, pick one.
genitals or eyes. Fuck, man.
That is really
That
fucking
is
hard.
a really hard one. What about like one nut and one eye?
Like a crisscross.
You gotta go
Take my right nut and my left eye. It's like a crisscross. Yeah, that's fuck. That seems like a sweet deal compared to having to choose just one.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. I'd have to think about. I'd have to ponder that long and hard. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Because that's a really tough question.
Well, I mean, the thing is this. Can live a pretty like there's a lot of blind people out there living
They're
pretty
living
full
good
lives and
Yeah,
everything.
that's true.
How many eunuchs are out there with just nothing
That's true.
just scooped out that are really just having a good time going through life? I feel like I gotta go with
agree.
keep my genitals.
And isn't that a funny thing? Because the biological impulse to mate is so strong that you
It's-
would give up anything for it. Really,
It's like you lose your you essentially lose like your humanity when you lose it. There's a huge amount of your existence and identity as a human being that is taken away with that.
yeah.
Like,
It ultimately all is in some ways.
yeah.
I mean, really, when it comes down to it, there's no other. That's why you do everything essentially.
Dude, sex
In
is
some
just
ways.
like the best. Just
I-
get rid of that.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to second guess. I was just saying there is one thing I would pick over sex. Just a really good massage. I might choose over sex.
You say that now, but go a really long time without sex. And a
Well,
really
yeah,
long
all
time
right. If it
without-
was, but damn, dude, when you're getting like a real good massage, like where they oil you up and you're good to go. Is there
So
anything
you
better
give
on
up
the
your
planet?
genitals to have regular great massage.
I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that if I lost my genitals,
You could still get massages.
massages wouldn't be a bad substitution.
That would be
Actually, it would be a bad substitution, but it would be better than, I guess that would be what I would go to then. Even though it's a different type of pleasure, but
yeah. I mean, it's where else are you gonna go? You know.
yeah, there's nowhere else to go. You're fucked.
Well,
And if you use,
for lack of a better word.
if you lose your eyes, you could use echolocation. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen people doing that. That kid with no eyes that plays basketball and he clicks his tongue. He's like,
Yep. For those of you that don't know, echolocation is a technique used by blind people to
basically you become Daredevil.
They become Daredevil, from Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
They literally just go, and they can feel the vibration that bounces off the sound.
Like our friend the dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Much like our murderous, suicidal friend, the dolphin, the friendly dolphin.
Friend, the friendly dolphin. The aficionado of a fine hand job, the dolphin.
The first time I saw echolocation was on the Ripley's Believe It or Not TV show in like 1998.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this dude they had him drive a car, they had him ride a bike. This guy could do everything.
Mm-hmm.
He had honed this technique so masterfully.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. The guy on the bike, and he's just going...
Yeah, just clicking around. And he could do everything that fucking everybody else could do.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Just walking around, no cane or anything. He's just clicking his way through life.
Will we ever see a blind UFC fighter use his echolocation?
We already saw a
one-armed.
We saw a no-limbed.
That's right.
He was a like a Nebraska state wrestling champion.
Yeah.
And I've heard different theories about him with what makes him difficult to wrestle.
Do you think that's legit though? Well, he's a wrestler though, right? Not a fighter.
But he fought a pro MMA fight.
Did he win?
I don't remember if he won. It was a long time ago, and I feel like the guy just kept kind of like sidestepping him and throwing like round hooks at him.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This isn't me taking a jab at him. This is a fact. He's on all fours.
Taking a jab at him, huh? Man, that was really tasteless.
No, fuck you. He's on all fours. So you can't throw knees at him. You can't kick at him. You have to punch him. That's the only thing you can throw at him. You know, he has been wrestling for his entire life. So even without like limbs, he knows how to use his body to wrestle. He wins matches, so he must be able to do something, you know.
Right.
So he's an effective wrestler. So if you get too close to him, you're putting yourself in range of his specialty. And the only thing you really do, you can't punch him in the back of the head. And he's down here, so his targets aren't really open. He's a tricky guy to fight in that sense. So there's something to it.
Right.
But I'm not about to sit here and tell you that a guy with fucking no arms and legs is at an advantage. No.
Yeah, that's just silly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The first thing I imagined in my mind, until you pointed out the fact that he's technically a downed opponent, but I just pictured somebody just running full speed and just like missile drop kicking him, and like
you can knee and kick him in like the ribs and stuff. If you can post his head and you can come off to the side and work.
That's a psychological advantage in some ways though, because nobody's really gonna want to unload on that dude.
Right. That was something else that people were saying too. It's like the guy I remember. I remember.
You'd have to be a heartless motherfucker to really just want to unload on that dude.
Maybe he's a dick.
Maybe he is a dick. Maybe he's super entitled. Everybody's pampered him his whole life, and they're like, you know, maybe he's just gotten everything he's ever wanted. Yeah, maybe he's a total prick. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted that little bit of silence. Statement.
It might be a dick. Really, all he is a dick.
Wow. And eyes.
And God, poor guy.
Yeah, no,
good for him though. Fuck, he made it work.
He's also not a complete amputee. He's not just a torso. He has like nubs on everything. So he's got little like paddles to work with everywhere.
God. It just any way you try and make it sound, it just comes out sounding even worse. He's got paddles to work with. Little nubs, little paddles.
Dude, you should see this guy lifting weights. It's cool. He puts like straps on his little nubs and he just goes like...
He probably can deadlift a shitload too because he's super close to the floor.
He's like vicious strong. Like that's what everybody says about him. He's just crazy fucking strong. He's little tiny ball of muscle.
If you look at some of the best like Olympic weightlifters ever, they have really short levers.
Yeah.
You know, their arms and legs they
No,
look
for sure.
borderline deformed. So.
Well, I was watching that. I was watching that one-armed Muay Thai fighter the other day at work. They had some old lion fights on, and he was on there, and he had his. I never fucking remember this dude's name, but yeah, he's the one-armed dude, and he had the glove strapped onto his fucking forearm where his arm ends. And he just was fucking cracking this dude with it. It was just so gnarly. Like, and I was just looking at it going, like, that's got to be just the craziest power. That's like landing an elbow.
Yeah.
It's just an inherently short cross every time. Like, boom! Like,
did you ever see, there was this kung fu movie from, like, the 70s called Master of the Flying Guillotine?
I know of it. I never watched it. I've tried to look it up. It's hard to find, man.
It is.
Where it's like the guy has the thing that he throws around.
And the main character in the movie is a one-arm fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very crudely done. Like, you can tell he clearly wasn't a one-arm fighter.
But
like,
it's also it's one of those campy classic kung fu movies.
It is,
like,
yeah.
I like those. I like those. They're good.
It what do you call it? I remember we ordered it through. You were talking about Netflix mail DVD earlier.
Dude, they had a lot of those. That was where I saw a lot of that shit from.
Somebody I was listening to the other day said that Amazon does that now.
Do they?
Where you can literally just pick Rob Zombie on Joe Rogan's podcast.
You can have that. How fucking dope was he? I never knew Rob Zombie was so cool.
He's cool as fuck. That was a very interesting podcast.
That was one of my favorite ones I've ever heard.
Me too.
And I never thought I would like Rob Zombie that much. He's just such a cool guy.
You know how sometimes you'll just hear something and for some weird reason it makes sense?
Mm.
The moment when Rob Zombie said that he got his start as a PA on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
Something about it just made sense.
Something about that just
was like, Rob Zombie was a PA, production assistant on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
And just him talking about New York. I really liked when he was talking about what New York used to be like and how he said he saw a dead body. I was just thinking about that on the way over here because I was driving from work and I was over there by Skyway. And I remember when I was 5 years old, me, my dad, and my brother were driving in that exact... Because I saw a bicyclist over there. There's always a lot of bicyclists out there.
Mm.
And I saw a bicyclist out there, and I was thinking about when I was 5 years old, I remember me, my dad, and my brother driving, and we found a dead bicyclist out there.
Mm.
He had just died. He had a heart attack.
That's crazy.
He was like a younger dude, too, from what I remember. He was like probably in his late 30s.
Or Ramon Deckers.
Dude, he just was riding his bike, and he was just... it was so crazy.
That's how Ramon Deckers died.
Yeah.
He was like
just had a heart attack
or something. He was just on his bike. He
Well,
had
so
a fucking heart attack.
we were just driving by in my dad's little truck, and this was like 1995 before cell phones. So like we're driving by, and my dad was like, "What? Fuck, is that guy all right?" So he just pulls over, and me and my brother are just like standing there looking at him, you know. And the guy's just laying there in the gutter, like he had just had a heart attack. So my dad checked his pulse and everything, flagged down the next car, and then it was like a half hour before the cop got there. But just what a weird random ass memory, you know? Just seeing this
so shit. That's what's really cool about podcasts. You hear these different people and perspectives and everything,
right?
And it triggers things that you fucking just wouldn't have even thought about. You know? What tripped me out about Rob Zombie just right off the bat was how his voice is like interchangeable with Dave Foley. The whole time I was listening to it, I just thought, it sounds exactly like I'm listening to Dave Foley.
I never even picked up on that. But you know what's funny, dude, is when I was listening to it, I remember, because Dave Foley has a very distinct voice.
He does. That's why it was so weird.
I remember thinking, who the fuck does Rob Zombie sound? I remember he just sounded familiar to
100% Dave Foley. Yeah. Like, all the way.
Yep.
I love Dave Foley. I think he's... Kids in the Hall, dude.
I used to watch Kids in the Hall when I was younger.
Yeah.
They were always dressing
tapeworms.
Remember they were always
big.
They were always dressing up like women.
Yeah.
They always would. It was that weird Canadian humor.
It was that. Well, it was like borderline Monty Python humor.
Yes.
It was like
Canadian humor was like a mix of American and British humor.
Very much. Yeah. I love Kids in the Hall, dude. That shit was great.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like jump into that. Like, you just caught me off guard with that fucking that Rob Zombie thing. You know, I didn't want to jump away from what we were getting into. But what he said was you can order movies on Amazon that you can't find actual copies of or can't find them anywhere, and they'll burn them to a disc and send them to you. That's super cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been like my, because I remember being like a teenager, and there was movies like that were like, especially in the horror genre.
Yeah.
There was movies that were like mythical, you know.
Right.
I remember one that was like Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal.
Cannibal Holocaust is around. You could find that.
Well, but there was another one called that. But I was using that as an example. But there was another one that I really wanted to see that was called Cannibal Ferox, which like came after, and I think it was inspired by it. But
Yeah.
I remember, so what I would do, because these movies were so hard to find, you could go on like Kazaa or LimeWire, and you could download the trailers to the movies.
Yeah.
So I remember I would just watch these trailers to these obscure, you know, gruesome like 70s horror movies, and just be wondering like, oh, I wonder what that movie's like.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, me and like, you know, my history of like just watching all the crazy movies that are just not available anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not going to find them at a video store. You're not going to, you know. But I found this movie that it's not. I wouldn't call it like a really good movie, but for one of these like really dark, twisted, you know, horror movies, it actually was like kind of cool. It came out in probably like 2012 or something like that. So when I was still living in Santa Maria, I watched it with my sisters. It was called Necromentia, just stupid generic like horror movie name. And it just had some really cool shit in it. It had some cool, like, scary scenes, like, really unique stuff. It was very, like, it was really, really dark and unusual. And now you can't find it anywhere. It's not online anywhere. I can't fucking find any links to it.
Well, that's kind of the weird thing about.
So it's turning into one of those mythical movies that, like, if you know about it, you know it exists. You can find it. You can Google it, and it'll come up. But it's hard to find like actual watchable links to it.
Yeah, I just googled it right now. Kind of looks like a like Clive Barker.
Yes, it's very Clive Barker. It's very Clive Barker inspired. It's very like demonic, and there's some like really twisted shit in it. There's a lot of blood, but it had some really like unusual things that you just wouldn't expect. Like there's this opening scene where this girl is in like a torture room, and this guy is like, he's like going through all of his like, this guy with a mask on is going through all of his fucking tools and everything, and like he cuts her finger off, and like there's like metal music playing, and you're like, okay, this is some fucking torture scene. This guy's gonna be the murderer or whatever. And then he cuts the music, and then he cuts the girl down, and then she's like with her finger like hanging from a thread, she goes to her purse and like pulls out some money and gives it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's just like weird shit like that. And
it's funny when you go to the Rotten Tomatoes for it, the very first review that I came across, it was a user review, because this movie is so obscure that they don't have critic reviews for it.
Oh, of course not. No, it's much too obscure for that.
But the first one that they have, the guy says, "This may be the most disturbing, darkest, satanic, evil, crazy, sadistic horror movie I have ever seen. The story is just so dark."
Yeah. So basically, he said what I had to say about it.
The movie probably has the most disturbing characters I have seen in a very long time.
It's very, like, it really... Yeah, there's a scene where a demon visits, like, a teenager who's, like, he's like, special. I don't know if he's, like, supposed to be autistic, but he's really, really poorly plays an autistic kid, if that's what it is. He's just very... He's very, just LD. He's hardcore LD. And
do you ever watch any of Jeremy Saulnier's movies?
No, I don't know who that is. I may have
did, I've only seen 2 of his movies, but he did Green Room and Blue Ruin.
I watched Green Room. I didn't see Blue Ruin.
Did you like Green Room?
I liked it okay. I wasn't that... I give it a 7. I wasn't too wrapped up in it, but it was entertaining enough.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything exceptional from it. I liked that they played Nazi punks fuck off because I was a big...
That was a pretty cool scene.
Like,
that was a really cool scene. And it was like perfectly like timed. And,
like that one was a cover. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. That
I did like how they were a group of like I liked how it contrasted the fact that they were like some like fucking little bitch kids that thought they were fucking hard because they were players, and then they got dropped into the real world and like real hard people.
Exactly. That movie did have some really, the way that some of the kills in that movie, the context, it was really like stomach turning.
It was pretty gritty, pretty stomach turning. Like when the kid gets his arm hacked up by the machete. That part,
even just thinking about that, I'm like,
can you believe that? That's the guy who ran himself over with his car.
Anton Yelchin.
Yeah,
that was a Green Room. I think was the last movie that they released with him.
I think that was his last movie. Sad story. But he was a good actor. He was really good in Green Room. Like that scream that he does when they're hacking his arm up. Like they're super like. That was the part that really made that scene really gruesome. It made that really like stomach turning. Was he sold it with his reaction.
Yeah,
Goddamn Patrick
really
Stewart.
did. And he was then they got Patrick Stewart as the evil dude.
Yeah, how about that, right?
And then you know what, other than him getting his arm hacked, which was just brutal, was the scene where the kid is the drummer, I think it was. He's trying to escape through the window, and and it's like, oh, yeah, fuck, yeah, that had some brutal shit in it. You guys should check that out if you get a chance.
He was the drummer was the John Boy from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, remember he does jujitsu.
He does jujitsu. He like has the guy. That's how they secure the guy. He just puts him in an armbar. He's like, I just hold this, pull it back.
Yeah,
arm snaps.
It was kind of cool to see them do that, because that's basically, if you did have a guy who had any training and then everybody else in the room didn't train at all, that's pretty much what would happen.
Yeah,
you know, like he would just wouldn't know how to defend it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean that would work fine. Just snap that fat dude's arm off, and you know, it's pretty. For those of you who have never had your arm broken, it's pretty debilitating when you get your arm broken. Not only is that arm at that point useless, you're in a shit ton of pain.
Yeah, it fucking hurt. I had both of my elbows have been broken.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was 5, I broke my right elbow. I fell off the top of the bunk bed and tried to block my landing.
Oh no!
And they had to do emergency surgery on this one and put like pins in it. So that's why I have that long scar there.
Yeah.
I barely remember that, but I do remember distinctly breaking my left elbow when I was 10. And I was doing professional wrestling with my friend.
Mm-hmm.
We just watched WWE SmackDown.
Well, that's when you want to do professional wrestling.
He went to go perform a DDT on me. And if you guys remember the way The Rock did a DDT, The Rock had a very distinct DDT. He would headlock you, and then he would like kick his leg out as he DDT'd you. It was like a real snap.
Yeah.
So we were doing that style. And he went to snap back, but I wasn't prepared for it. So then as we were going down, I went to block it with my left arm. And I still, till this day, like, you know how when you snap your neck and it goes...
Mm-hmm.
It was like that times 20. Like that, but way louder.
Mm-hmm.
I remember feeling the crunch, just the... And then I just remember like I would think I went into shock. I remember I just grabbed my arm and
what happens.
I just popped right up and ran into the house. And I was laying there on the couch and I was like, dude, I don't know. I think you fucking broke my arm. I don't know. And he's like, well, he was such a little dickhead too. He wasn't even apologetic about it or nothing. And I was like, I can't fucking wrestle anymore. And the funniest part about it is right before my dad left the house, the first thing that he said, he was coaching Babe Ruth baseball at the time. And the first thing that he says when he leaves the house, he goes, Matthew, don't be doing any fucking wrestling. Swear to God, last words. And I break my arm.
Perfect.
He comes home, and I laid there I was so afraid to tell my dad my arm was broken because of his reaction that I laid under a blanket for 5 hours with a broken arm. And it was throbbing. It felt like I had a heartbeat in my arm. It was just going... And I was just laying there like this, holding it, and he comes home and he was like, hey, what's wrong? I was like, oh, I'm just not feeling good. Stayed under the blanket. So then my brother I broke my arm at like 4 that afternoon. My brother got home at 10 that night, and he walks in, and I was like, dude, I think I broke my arm. And he was like, well, let me see it. And he wasn't thinking it was going to be that bad. And he was like, fuck. I was like, dude, you need to go to the hospital. That's broken. It was like... my little skinny 10-year-old
black and swollen,
fucking Lexington steel-sized arm was swollen like as big as a softball.
Yeah.
And he was like, so then he called my mom. My mom comes right home. I was like, I don't want you to tell Dad. My dad comes out. What's the first thing he does? God damn it, Matthew, I told you not to be fucking wrestling. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
He comes and he looks at my arm. He was like, it's broken. Take him to the hospital.
It's broken.
And that was it.
Get him out of here.
And they fucking...
Put him in the trash and get a new one. It's broken.
Throw him away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most painful break I ever had is actually a dislocation. So I've had a bunch of little breaks all over my body. I've fortunately never like broken a big bone. I've never had a full like boom clean break on anything. It's just little shards, little like snaps, but the worst one that I ever got, like most debilitating, was what the doctor described as a Les Franck dislocation. I don't know how I got that name, what that means. But what a Les Franck yeah, it's very poetic, right? Sounds very European, very classy dislocation. What that is on your foot. I don't know, is it the tarsal or the metatarsal? Which one is it?
For your foot? It would be your tarsal.
It would be your tarsal, the one that goes all the way up to the ankle. So what happened was, I was in wrestling, and I tripped on a split, a divot between two mats, and I fell on my ass with my foot vertical, and the guy that I was wrestling with fell on my foot and rotated it all the way over, and so my ankle sprained, and then but with the sprain of the ankle, that little tarsal just popped out.
Oh.
And the doctor, when we went, he was just like, well, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to let it heal. And
did they pop it back in? Or
nope,
did it...
you can't. You just have to let the muscles heal around it. You can't pop that back in.
I feel like I've heard of that before. Isn't that something that's like really the reason why it's called the Les Franck? It's very common in a certain activity of some kind.
I think that's a thing. I never researched it.
It's kind of like, you know, when you hear about people getting the like the Tommy John surgery, baseball players get that a lot. So baseball players, they all have to, the pitchers specifically have to get this like Tommy John surgery for their arm from throwing. But I think Les Franck is tied to some other sport that it's common in or something like that.
Well, it sounds very, very civilized. Maybe it's like polo or something, you know.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like it would be. I was thinking tennis.
Maybe
I was
tennis,
trying to run down sports in my mind.
How often are you popping your? Well, I guess tennis you probably dislocate your ankles a lot. There's a lot of like running around and.
Yeah, you could break them ankles in tennis.
Tennis could be a place for that. I just feel like it's more of an upper body thing because that's what we're really focused on. Tennis elbow.
Yeah, tennis elbow.
My foot was fucking useless. I was on crutches for a while off that. Like I couldn't walk. I didn't do shit. I was fucking miserable. It's all purple and ugly and swollen.
Have you remember that there was a few years back? It was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. There was a UFC fighter that broke his dick having sex with his girlfriend. True story.
Yeah. Wait.
He broke his dick off.
Off?
Yes. Like not. Well, all right. I should clarify. You can't. I don't think you can just full blown break your dick off of your body. Like boom, gone. But he broke. You can break your dick.
Yeah, I've heard you could break your dick.
So his girlfriend was riding him. Yeah. And this is true story. His girlfriend was riding him reverse cowgirl, and she broke his dick.
Yeah.
And then she promised him a threesome as an apology for it.
Yeah.
You break my dick, I better be getting a little more than a threesome.
Yeah, a threesome isn't going to cover it.
I'm going to need a gangbang. Not on myself. Wait. What?
Wait. No. just in numbers. We're just talking numbers.
I'm going to have to clarify that.
You have to
I don't want to be the one getting banged in the gang by the gang.
I'm here for the gang.
I don't want to get banged by the gang. I want to be banging a gang.
I want to bang a whole gang.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that story.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not really sure why this. I'm not sure what the significance of.
Yeah, Ray Elby, this fucking dude. Broken penis, MMA fighter Ray Elby. This guy was on the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. Ultimate Fighter suffers broken penis.
Broke dick.
suffered a horrendous injury while having sex with his girlfriend recently, essentially breaking his penis and passing out from the pain.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds horrible.
Wow. Man, that's something else. He was having sex with a girlfriend who was on top. When she bounced on a little too high and crunched his erect penis. According to Ray, his penis was fractured and blood was everywhere. Ray says he immediately passed out from the pain. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Alright, wait a minute. The fucking whoever wrote this fucking article deserves a Pulitzer Prize. The fighter says he learned a hard lesson from the experience and will never let his girlfriend be on top ever again. Elby also explained, in an attempt to make it up to me, my GF has promised me a threesome of my choice when we get back to the Philippines, which usually has some solid talent. Ray Elby, man.
What a guy.
I like the way he describes the women in the Philippines as solid talent.
Solid talent. I like that. Yeah, this is an article that's going to be... this is Bleacher Report. This is going to be like... A lot of people are going to see this. He's like, yeah, there's a lot of talent in the Philippines, I'll tell you.
It was originally on TMZ. This was from... I'm trying to pull up what year this was from. I believe it was 2012. God.
So it was actually like...
They even got a picture of this dude on the stretcher.
So they didn't just... It wasn't like internally broken. Like it's... Oh, God, she bounced and crunched.
I'm picturing like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. Where this dude's dick is just spraying blood like a fire hose all over.
God, that's so horrible.
Oh.
How do you recover from something like that? Like...
I don't think that you do.
I know.
I think you have a John Wayne Bobbitt penis.
No.
Have you ever seen John Wayne Bobbitt's penis?
I've heard of it. I don't want to see it.
You have to see it. Now you have to see
where
it.
It's like it's got like a fucking pump on it.
Well, John Wayne Bobbitt did a porno.
His freaking penis.
I know. He did a whole porn with his Franken dick, and he went on Howard Stern to promote the movie.
Yeah, that
was really sad. Howard Stern was just clowning him about his dick the whole time. Poor guy got his dick chopped off.
Yeah, I know.
Yep, there it is. Reattached. So it's a Franken penis, all right. I mean, it's very obvious. That doesn't do it justice.
Oh, man.
Yeah, something else, huh? He can't even really get it, like, hard, too. I mean, it doesn't... You get your dong chopped off, it's never going to work the same way again after that.
That's sort of the thing.
It's just really sad.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
Oh, that's the worst one. That's the worst one. Because you can clearly see where it was...
Yeah.
Oh,
that's rough, man. That's pretty fucked up. There's been a lot of genital mutilation happening in this episode.
This is... okay, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this.
Yeah, there's
all right,
too many dicks on that screen.
This is probably the deepest we've ever gotten into genital mutilation in specific. We should just call this episode Genital Mutilation.
Oh, man.
I don't think anybody's clicking on it if we call it that.
If we call it genital mutilation, it's either going to get a lot of clicks or none at all.
Yeah.
That Brazzers episode, the one that we wrote Brazzers on it, that one got
I know, isn't that funny?
It's fucking hilarious.
We had an episode we did that
it was complete audio. It's like, what did people think they were going to get?
It was total audio. It was a YouTube video, and it has substantially more views.
Yeah. Because it had Brazzers in the title.
Yeah, just because it has Brazzers in the title. That just goes to show you sex sells.
Sex sells.
But who's buying?
Not the people who picked eyes over penis, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're not buying.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to
That would be a good poll. I would like people to really comment on that and let us know. You go on penis or eyes?
Yeah, eyes or penis, guys.
I think basically every guy is going to say eyes. Women, though, what if you reversed it and told women choose between
your vagina
and your eyes? I think most of them would choose their eyes.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, neither of us are women. It's really hard for us to comment on that.
I know a lot of women, and I feel confident in speaking for them and saying they're picking eyes.
Most women I know are comfortable being told what they think by men. So,
exactly. That's the point I was trying to make. As
long as we say it, it's probably what the women are going to agree with.
I feel like I can speak for them.
Yeah. I've got sisters.
I teach Pilates, okay?
Oh, that's true. You basically
basically
run a stable of women.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. All right. So that puts us at pretty close to an hour and a half. Do you have anything else you want to talk about today? This one has been sort of just a free run episode. Shit just got weird on this one.
Yeah.
It was fun though. I had a good time. Back and Bone Show. Back at you. Follow our shit. So like, subscribe, follow, share, so that we can get some attention because we clearly need it. We're lonely.
Yes.
Anyone out here in Santa Maria, AG, up to Slow and shit? I'm doing Muay Thai, teaching martial arts out in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Get with me, people. And sweet little Matthew here. Show him your sweater. Represent yourself. Get this microphone out of the way.
This is the gym that I train out of. But my classes are called Core 4. So if you ever want to come take one of my classes, look for Core 4 on Mind Body.
Yeah. Get our social media. Bone Catrone, Instagram.
Always pick. What did we learn from today? You're listening to the Back and Bone. Always pick your bone over your eyes and listen to this podcast with your ears.
As long as you don't lose your ears, you can always listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm. With your bone still intact.
With your bone intact.
You don't need your eyes.
The Back and Bone Show, we respect your decision to keep your bone. All right.
Support that.
We support that. All right.